Welcome to War of the Stars, a Star Wars podcast, coming to you every week from deep within the Outer Rim, far beyond the watchful ice of the Galactic Empire. Join your hosts, John Mark Tolley, Garrett K. Jones, and Brian Karasik, as they discuss the various facets of the saga's lore, characters, review the films, and discuss every tidbit of news coming out of Lucasfilm. And remember, this isn't just my Star Wars, this isn't just your Star Wars, this is our Star Wars.
It is indeed our Star Wars. Welcome once again to another fun-filled episode of War of the Stars. At least I hope it's going to be a fun-filled episode.
I do too.
Cosplaying Babu Frick there. Sorry, fellas. Hey.
I am joined. Yes. I am joined by
Babu Frick.
my co-host. You heard the dulcet tones of Brian Karasik over there. And of
dulcet
course,
tones.
yes. And of course, Garrett K. Jones. Yes, and we are talking lightsabers. But first, fellas, how have you been this week?
Well, I tell you, I spent the day in the hospital today.
Well, we
purpose.
have just been demonetized.
No, I'm just pretty sad. Sorry, we'll do this.
Actually, what we did is we just got to see a bird on camera.
Hey.
I spent the day in the hospital today having a very benign cyst removed from my favorite left finger. So that was a day off work where I could spend the day lying in a soft bed with a blanket. And the nurse manager of the ward has about $10,000 worth of Star Wars Legos assembled in his office, including the giant Death Star, the ultimate collection of, so many. And so he and I naturally got zero work done while the nurses around him were doing things. But yeah, still got the IV thing and the hospital tag, came here direct. It was a fun day. And not for nothing here, guys, I'm here to tell you.
Yes.
We are part of the greatest nation in the world. I got to experience directly the joys of living in that great nation and experiencing the greatest medical system in the world, wherein I had an appointment at 11:30 and I was called at 8 o'clock to come in early, and I came in early, and then I waited 4 hours and did not leave until 6:30. So, great times.
Hey,
Nice.
hey, it could have been worse.
Yeah, I could be dead.
This is true, but I was going to say you could be in, the Chinese medical system where they call you in the Tuesday before your surgery and you walk out and they've stolen your car.
And your kidneys.
Yeah.
And they've probably offed your second child.
Yes.
Anyway.
So.
You got a second child?
No, I would never betray the party like that.
Well, yeah, I make jokes. The team took really good care of me, but it was frustrating to spend that amount of time waiting. And as a similar problem I had at Disney is you become conscious of what I call the dollar per minute factor.
Mm-hmm.
In that, like, hey guys, feels like I'm paying an awful lot of money for this.
You stand around and do nothing.
Right.
So, I think Garrett is trying to tell us about.
Oh no,
what
I'm just trying to see what my range of motion is with the very small room that I'm in for my office. Actually, speaking of birds on screen, Brian, you had the opportunity to be on the Chad the Birdcast this last week.
I did, and what a great time. Folks, if you're not familiar with Chad the Birdcast, Chad is a bird. In that he is a Chicago-based comedian who does a at least once weekly podcast, which largely consists of his stand-up act, where he has a regular routine and he discusses the topics of Star Wars and horror movies and often pinball. And that was where we met. And I'm not going to spoil the episode, because if you look up Chad the Birdcast, I am a guest on what he refers to as the Hundo episode. And it was a great time. Chad is hilarious.
He is.
He is a bird in that the podcast and the stand-up is presented in the form of a hand puppet. Bird hand puppet who is just really funny, and I had a great time. And I gotta say, I emailed him one bit of pinball trivia he had never heard of, and based on that he invited me to be on the show, and based on that conversation I'm looking forward to having him on our show. So In the near future, he's booked through August, but in the near future, probably September, mid to late September timeframe, we will have an additional guest in the form of a brightly colored hand puppet. So yeah, it's
Awesome.
really good time.
Nice.
And
That is fun.
folks at home, I implore you to visit Chad the Birdcast and listen to the Hondo episode. If you're not tired of my voice by now, you should definitely check it out. And if you have any interest in horror movies, in pinball trivia, and in hearing me rant about Star Wars in a way that Mark cannot shut me down, it's a great time.
Actually, I gotta say, I listened to the episode on Friday, and it was Friday, and I just had a blast listening to it. Like, I was cracking up with the banter back and forth, and like, I like
that's good because some of that was stuff you've heard before. I was very conscious of that, so I'm glad that it.
Yeah, but I mean, even still, like the stuff when you guys were talking about the pinball, like there was some stuff that I had heard about, but it wasn't rumor, and so it was really really fun for me to be able to hear that because it was trivia that I didn't know, and now I can use that. I could throw that back at my folks or something. I'm going to come up to Jeopardy at some point in the near future, and I'm going to know something, and my dad's going to be like, "How do you know that?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, because that's what I do. I'm a dork, and I know things."
Nice. You got an in.
I do.
All right. Well, what are we talking about today, Garrett?
We are talking about. Oh, I gotta pull up Canva. We are talking about our tiered list of our favorite lightsabers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as we've done it in the past, what we do is we make our selection. We present our various options there, and then we rate them based on how we think they are.
Right.
And so let me bring up Canva because that's where our tiered list is. Let's see, share screen, tiered ranking, and Kabow. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Sweetness. Okay, so we've got a few selections here. I'm going to bring everything down. I put together graphics for all the 3 to 5 sabers that we each like. There's a lot of Sith or red-bladed sabers in this, which is kind of not surprising.
I mean, I throw off the average on that, I'm sure.
Well, yeah. Considering the fact that 2 of your selections are wielded by the same person. Go figure.
Surprise!
So, Brian, we're actually going to start with you. And
all right.
So let me go through the list of what we've got here. We've got, so this one up here in the top corner is Palpatine's primary saber. Then we have his offhand saber down here in the bottom right corner. Then we have, this is Darth Bane's, if I recall?
Yes, Darth Bane's.
Darth Bane. Okay, then we have, next to that is Luke Skywalker's Return of the Jedi saber, which was modeled after Obi-Wan Kenobi's saber in A New Hope. Next to that, we have Balin's skull.
Oh, that's a nice one.
It is. We have Darth Vader. Then we have Ahsoka Tano's white-bladed sabers, as seen in The Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett and the Ahsoka series. And I believe it's also seen in Rebels. Then we have Asajj Ventress's first saber, because she does go through a couple of different versions in the Clone Wars. This is the first one initially seen in the Genndy Tartarovsky 2D animation Clone Wars. Now, the other 4, one you guys, 2 of them you'll recognize. We have Darth Maul, so over here on the far left. And this, of course, is Cal Kestis holding his saber. And I've got his specific to the game Jedi Survivor because of how unique it is. Then we have Chimere's double saber. And then this one right here is one of my personal favorites. This is the saber of Starkiller from The Force Unleashed.
2
So-
video games. I like it.
I thought I'd switch it up for some reason.
Yes.
All right,
That's
so
good. I
Brian, we're
respect
going to
it.
start with you. You get to run the gamut of all of these sabers, and you place them in the tiers that you think would they fit best.
Okay.
And if you have questions about some of my selections, let me know.
Sidious Main, I would put at top.
I am not
Can-
surprised.
Can I only pick one per category?
No,
Very well. Sidious Offhand also at the top.
of course you are.
Darth Bane beneath that.
Between the two categories or on A?
On A, sorry.
Okay.
Um,
Any justification for why that one's not up a little bit higher or lower?
it is no longer canon, and I think it loses some points in that regard.
Hmm.
And he did not construct it himself.
So he stole it.
He was presented it. If he stole it, I would it points back. It was a gift.
Gotcha.
I'm currently listening through Darth Bane, the Darth Bane trilogy again, and I've just come across that section. Beneath these, I'm going to put Darth Maul and Darth Vader on
On B tier?
not beneath. Sorry, on A.
In that order?
Actually, sorry, Maul on B, Vader on A.
Interesting.
Ahsoka on A.
Really?
Ventress on A. I got you guys. Dude, we got some good sabers in this. What are the others? What's that two red sabers one? Just
This one right here, that's Chimere. That's Smilo Ren from the Acolyte.
I've not heard his word said out loud, but I do recognize the pronunciation from
So
context.
the,
C.
Okay.
The far right green, is that Luke?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
from Return of the Jedi.
S.
Interesting.
And this yellow one is
Balin Skull from Ahsoka.
Balin Skull. Okay, that's tricky. B. And the last two, Bantha Poodoo.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it just because you know nothing about them?
No, I've played both of those games.
Oh.
I do not care for video game equipment being put into canon, and I blame video game equipment for the existence of the Grey Jedi phenomenon.
Which you have said ad nauseum on this podcast. Okay. All right.
Ad nausea. Ad satisfactium. Ad approprium. Ad just right enoughium.
We'll see.
I wanted to touch on, and unfortunately I do need to depart before the show is over this evening, I'm afraid, but I do want to touch on specifically why I chose these three at the top. Sidious constructed his lightsabers as works of art, and this is partially legends and partially fan theory, but I subscribe to it because it's my fan theory. The Jedi see a lightsaber as a tool. It is a method of peacekeeping. They use it primarily for defense. Obviously, it's a weapon. Obi-Wan cuts a hand off the first time we see it used. You know, it's a weapon. But the Jedi, by and large, present the lightsaber as a necessary violence that they wish to avoid. Most of the Jedi, at some point or another, express reluctance to use violence. They would much rather talk their way out, negotiate, that sort of thing. And as a result, you can see that Jedi lightsabers look like tools. They have been constructed like they are utilitarian. They are functional. Some of them look elegant, but they are not something to be admired by and large. Conversely, Sidious subscribes to the Sith methodology that lightsabers are unnecessary, and they are used only as a mockery of the Jedi. Sidious, I think we can agree, is more dangerous without a lightsaber than with, including to himself, as we've discussed. Because once he starts throwing the lightning, anybody's on the table, including him, to get killed by it.
Yeah.
However, he constructs. Look at the artistry in the lightsaber. It's all swooping curves. It's a work of art. So he's not only perverting the Jedi's intent of the lightsaber, he's also perverting their ideal of it as a visual presentation. This is not just a weapon. It is a weapon that one appreciates. It shows the beauty in violence, the beauty in death. And that is a very Sidious and Sith approach. And no other Sith really enunciates that. You can find this written in the Book of Sith and also in the newly released Secrets of the Sith Chronicles of Emperor Palpatine, where he discusses his theories of this as far as the employment of the lightsaber and the red blade in particular, as Jedi seeing this weapon know that it is, I'm here for you. This weapon, this is the blood of Jedi that have made this red, essentially. Also, Sidious's saber is made of a combination of Phricken Duranium, Phrik. Uranium is both obviously made up metals. Uranium is an element in the Star Wars galaxy which is so dense that it affects gravitational waves and even distorts time in large enough masses, such that in the novelization of Episode 3 it specifically said that certain species that are sensitive enough to it can detect gravity abnormalities around a large piece of uranium. Sidious has a statue of these... Yes?
Oh, I was just going to say, I just had a laugh when you said frickin' Duranium.
Yeah, frickin' Duranium. I think that's intentional. I really think they put it that way. So Sidious had 4 statues of the sages of Duartai in his office. You can see them as we pan across his office in Episode 3. And these sages are ancient Jedi sages, and they had some pretty un-Jedi theories about the Force and its application. Sistros in particular, that's Sistros, those of you working at home. Inside the statue of Sistros was concealed Sidious's saber, and the reason he used this metal is that no security scan could detect it. He's sneaking a weapon into 500 Republica, arguably the most defended and secure building on Coruscant, outside of the Senate Rotunda itself. So he uses a metal that cannot be detected and telepathically he ignites the saber inside the statue and removes it that way. And I think I've shared on the podcast before my statue of Sistros, within which I also keep a Sidious saber hilt because I am nothing if not too much. All of which is to say that these lightsabers are constructed with absolutely every aspect of their creation, their storage, and their use put into the context of how can we apply this as a symbology of the Sith philosophy, the symbology of Palpatine's philosophy, not just the Sith, but the culmination of that philosophy as it is applied by Darth Sidious, who, let us remember, is objectively the only Sith since Bane to end a Jedi Order. So successful. So that's why I put both of them at the S tier. And Luke's lightsaber at the S tier, I don't think I need to explain that. That's Luke's lightsaber from Return of the Jedi. Come on, guys. Like that, of course.
It's that we all wish we had. When we were
yes, it's even I wanted that one. You know, it was he constructed it himself. He uses it to kill, or not kill Jabba the Hutt, but he uses it. It's the perfect lightsaber. It's the platonic ideal of a Jedi saber in the original trilogy. And whichever one of you put that on the list, I fully agree.
That would have been Mark.
Okay. I have similar theories about the rest of them, but I don't want to take up too much time, and unfortunately I do need to go soon. But I will say that I do not care for the bottom tier. I'm not going to go into the Great Jedi thing, but by its very nature, a video game set in the Star Wars universe cannot fit well into canon because by its very nature, the character is intended to become more and more powerful throughout the course of the game, otherwise the player will not continue to play. As a result, we have Starkiller, an otherwise unknown character who's able to pull Star Destroyers out of the sky, who's able to, in some cases, kill Darth Vader, I think, is what happens in one of the story endings.
It's a non-canon ending.
Well, all of it is non-canon. I'm like, I was like, oh yeah,
all
I
of
can
it is
see how.
non-canon now, but prior to Disney getting their grubby little hands on everything.
Careful what you say, we're always listening. I think Okay, now, and I'm gonna be fair and say that I did not enjoy KOTOR because it was too on rails, and I did not enjoy Star Wars Galaxies because I was busy playing World of Warcraft. My World of Warcraft character is currently the engineering trainer in Thunder Bluff. Look it up, and I didn't get into Star Wars Galaxies or most of those online games. I was busy in the sword and sorcery genre. But as I was saying, though, a video game character and consequently their weapons have to increase exponentially at some point, or the game becomes boring. And as a result, we end up with the Darth Nihilus level of enemies. We end up with the Darth Revan level of heroes, where you have, in the case of Darth Revan, a former Jedi who killed millions of Jedi as a Sith and then changed his mind and came back to be a Jedi again, which I think indicates a great failing of the Jedi Order in that it's completely unforgivable for Anakin to impregnate Padme, but Revan can form an entire empire and go to war against the Jedi and be fine with it. A couple years later, oh no, it's fine. He's Revan. You had Revan. Oh, you. So as a result, I have a very bad taste in my mouth for anything video game related. And I will say, Cameron Monaghan is so cool. I love his work, and I love seeing cast members from Shameless get work. Like, we're watching The Bear right now and watching Lip hang out there. We're watching Furious, and Fiona's doing great. And, Cameron's doing great as Cal Kestis. I like the saber. I don't like its inclusion in canon, and on any list where it is a choice, it's going to have to be my last one. And similarly, Starkiller, it's just the same category. It's not fair. It's an objective assessment, and I in no way think that I'm right about that. It's purely my opinion. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm talking bad about your choice. If you like it, you're right. No, yours is the best.
That's the whole point of having discussion.
But that's my vote. And the A, B's, and C's are just sort of a variety of. I like the sabers, but I don't think they're as iconic as the top ones, and they're certainly not as repellent to me as the bottom. So okay. That's what I got.
No, I think that's fair. Okay. That's fine. Okay, Mark, I'm gonna have you give yours. So go for it.
Hello?
Hello?
Can hear you.
We can hear you.
I'm here. Sorry. Okay. I was getting a little lag here for a second.
No worries.
All right. Is it my turn?
Yes, it's your turn.
Okay. All right. Where are we starting at?
Start wherever you want.
All right. I think I'm going to keep that top tier the same. That's good. Then let's go. Vader is a B. I like that.
Vader's a B.
Because I'll go through my reasoning afterwards. I'm gonna put Baylan Skull. I'm putting it at A. Let's see. Let's do Ventress in between A and S.
Interesting. Okay.
I really like that. Same thing with Ahsoka. I like the kind of curved lightsaber blades.
I think the reflections between Ventress and Ahsoka are fascinating.
Yeah. Maul's an A. I dig the double blade of lightsaber. What's that one that's the other one that's down there? Oh, that's Vader's. Never mind, I saw it. Yeah, it was Vader's. The Smilo Ren. C. Yeah, let's just keep him there. And that one, let's move him to B.
Starkiller.
Starkiller. And then Cal Kestis, let's put him at B2.
Okay.
All right. So
let me keep track. Go ahead and describe it. I'm gonna start counting scores here.
okay. So with Vader, the reason because I picked Vader's lightsaber is it's basically almost identical to his Anakin one. And like, well, I like both of them. I slightly like the Vader one a little bit better. But because he basically copied his original lightsaber, as you know, his last lightsaber is Anakin. You know, I can't put it any more higher because it's basically a carbon copy of his old one. But everything you said about the three in the S tier, I completely agree with everything. They're just so Sidious's lightsabers are just so well designed and just pieces of art. And of course, it's Luke Skywalker. I mean, it's the green lightsaber. What more can you say?
Right.
And when it comes to Asajj Ventress and Ahsoka's, I almost put Dooku's lightsaber, but I just something about the design of Asajj is I like hers a little bit better. And the fact that it's a double lightsaber. I love dual lightsabers. And I got to give honorable mention to one that I didn't put in my list. It's not my favorite design, but I love the idea of it, and that is the one from Rebels, the blaster,
the blade blaster.
The blade blaster. It's not. I mean, it's not my favorite. That's why I would put it kind of. But I love the ingenuity of it. Like,
I wanted to dislike it, but I think it's great.
Yeah, yeah, and I also liked Kanan's lightsaber. The fact that he has to put it together, like it's in two different parts, so he can hide it and then he can put it together as a lightsaber. But so yeah, that's my list right there.
Okay. All right. So that's your list. I'm going to duplicate this sucker. I've kept track of the scores here. And I'm going to go through this fairly quick.
Okay.
All right. So
I'm really sorry, Garrett. I'm not going to be able to stick around for this one. I got a jet. I will listen, and I if history is any tutor, Garrett, I agree with your assessment. So, thank you, guys. Sorry to bug out a little early.
Later, man.
We'll talk to you again soon.
Yes. Hope you feel better, man. All right, so I'm going to leave Palpatine's right there. Palpatine, his first one is definitely a 5 for me. The second one, not so much because it's in pieces. So I'm gonna put that down at least a B tier because it does look pretty, but it also looks like a Duracell battery. Luke's. Let's see here. Okay, so that one I put it at a B, so that's going to be a 3. Okay, so for Luke, I'm kind of torn. Like, I think I'm going to put it at the 4.5 range, just because it was that first lightsaber that I was actually introduced to as a kid, and I always wanted it. And green's one of my favorite colors. I mean, obviously, it's one of my favorite colors.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, I don't care for the design of the hilt itself. Like, it doesn't feel super functional. It doesn't feel ergonomic. It feels very clunky. So that's I'm giving it a 4.5 on that one. Can you still hear me, Mark?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just that buzz from when Brian's on, it's not there. So I'm like, wait a minute, am I talking into the ether?
You or not.
Are we sure? Bane, I'm actually gonna put I'm not a fan. Most curved hilts, I'm not a fan of, especially in the way that this one's designed. It almost looks like something from like a canister vacuum.
Yeah.
And I'm actually gonna put it down at the B tier, and if only for the fact that he did not build it himself.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bane, he's getting a 3 on that one. Vader, I love Vader's his design. I mean, it's it's about as ergonomic as Luke's. It does look like his original Anakin, or at least the second Anakin lightsaber, because Anakin's lost how many hilts. But the thing about this one is that it is it's just so iconic to the character. Like, this is the one that he wields probably the most throughout his entire existence. And so I'm going to leave it where it is, as a 3-pointer. Cal Kestis, I'm going to actually raise that one up to A level. And the reason why, that's a 4 for me. And the reason for that is because it's versatile. By the time you it's really cool to have it and be able to use it the way he does, as a single-ended or a double-ended in Jedi Fallen Order. But by the time you get to Jedi Survivor, it's become incredibly versatile. Not only can he is he able to turn it into a double-ended saber like we see here in the picture, or use it as a single-ended weapon. He can, in certain cases, disconnect the two ends briefly and dual wield. But it also has a built-in. One of the emitters is extra long on it. It's kind of a shielded component, and it actually has a part that folds down and turns into a crossguard saber, which makes it incredibly versatile for depending on how your fight is going. Okay, so that's one of the things I like about it. So Asajj Ventress, I like hers. Again, I'm not usually a fan of the curved hilts, but I like these. It kind of reminds me of something out of like Tim Burton, because of like the black stripes going across the handles. It's very like sandworm-esque, very something you would see in a Tim Burton production.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, it's really cool. Because she could snap them together and do this S curve double-ended saber, or she could dual wield whatever she needed to do.
Yeah.
There's one configuration though that we never see her use, and that is putting the ends together where it creates like a U shape, and she could use it in some other kind of format.
Almost like a Klingon batleth.
Right?
Oh.
Why does nobody think like that?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Ahsoka's are very plain. You can tell that there's a lot of especially when they were going for that Japanese aesthetic when they introduced her in Mandalorian. You can clearly see that there's a Japanese aesthetic in the way that the grips are designed. They look very much like curved katana handles.
Yeah.
And so I like that. I'm a huge sword collector. I've got nothing in my office, unfortunately. They're all in other places. But I have quite a collection of katanas, some of which I got in Japan, and so I'm leaving it right where it is. So both Ventress and Ahsoka are getting the 4.5 treatment from me. Maul, let me get the Maul. Maul is. I'm actually moving him up a rank because, again, it's a double-ended saber. It's not as versatile as, say, Asajj Ventress's or Cal Kestis, because it's stagnant. He can use one end, he can use the other, or he can use both. That's great, but ultimately, wielding it's like wielding something like that is incredibly difficult, and just from a practicality standpoint. And I think having that, while the hilt is great, the hilt actually becomes problematic because, as we see, once it's disconnected in the middle, it's no longer usable. It's no longer functional. Now, he fixed that in later versions of his lightsaber, but at the same time, it is incredibly problematic. So I'm going to leave.
Right.
So I put that at the 4.5. Actually, you know what? Based on the problematic issues, I'm going to leave it as an A. So I'm just going to give it a 4. Let's see, Balin's skull. I never saw anything really fascinating about. I like how it's got like the 4 prongs at the top near the emitter. But I mean, other than that, it looks very generic. Like you can see the utilitarian design that is very Jedi in it, but the fact that he's got so much black plating on it says that he is completely distinct from the Order. The fact that he's got an orange or yellow blade is kind of cool. Usually, you see that with Jedi sentries. So it makes me wonder what his role was as a Jedi prior to the fall of the Order. And it could just be something that he's carried on with him. I mean, I like it, but at the same time, it's not super stand out for me other than the fact that it's got a different colored blade. So I'm going to actually lower it down to the 3.5 level. Now I come to Smilo. Now, Brian put it at Banthapudu. You put it at C tier. I'm actually going to at least put it on B tier. And the reason for that is because because of the versatility. Like you can use it as one saber, you can use it as two. And the secondary saber is actually a Shodo, which we see used to some extent by Ahsoka when she was initially Anakin's Padawan. And the fact that he has it where it's designed to connect into the base of the hilt for the larger saber is really kind of cool because you don't see that coming. It's a neat little trick. It's very crafty, very Darksider-ish. I wouldn't necessarily call him a Sith because we don't see him actually do anything that's really Sith-like.
Right.
But yeah, it's a really neat design. Again, it's more about form over. Actually, for him, it's function over form. I think to some degree, because if you look at the hilt, it's actually very plain. It's very ordinary, which makes sense, especially when you look at the way he dresses. Nothing is super flashy. I mean, the flashiest part about him is the fact that he's got the helmet and the gauntlet made of cortosis.
Right.
Which I am glad to see that they brought that back into canon officially, despite the fact that it was cut out for quite a number of years. Star Killers, I'm leaving it right there as at B tier, and the reason for that is because I like the design. I like the fact that it is incomplete, just like he is as a character throughout the game. Because you start off with him learning all about the dark side and being basically an assassin, and then having to teach himself how to be a Jedi. He doesn't have really anybody to teach him. And so you can see with the exposed Kyber crystal that it has that incomplete, very raw design to it. There's a scene in the first game where he is meditating for the first time as a Jedi and trying to piece it together, and like seeing the different pieces float. And he never gets to actually complete that process because Vader walks in and interrupts what he's doing. And then let's see, that's it. That's all of them. Kind of an interesting, different group of clusters.
One thing I found interesting was the lightsabers that we did not put on there. We didn't put Obi-Wan. We didn't put Yoda's. No one put Yoda. No one put the Darksaber.
I felt like the Darksaber was just too obvious.
Yeah. I
had thought about it.
When I was picking my lightsabers, yeah. And then seeing the ones that are like the like you can see, like when you look at Luke's, you can see the definite inspiration from Obi-Wan. But yeah, it was just interesting to see which ones were on there, which ones weren't. So what's our final tally?
Okay, so our final tally, and again, we round for we round out.
Yes.
So for Palpatine number 1, that stays right there at S tier.
Yes.
For Palpatine number 2, because the scores are 5, 5, and 3, that actually rounds that comes out to 4.3, but it's not above a 0.5, so it's rounding down to a 4. So we're gonna leave it right there. Luke is 5 plus 5 plus 4.5 divided by 3 is 4.8, and because it is above, I am gonna round up. So definitely S tier. Okay, the next one on the list is Bane. Bane is a 443, so 4 plus 4 plus 3 is 3.67. I hate that I did that. I will round up and make that a 4 because it is above a 0.5. I can't believe I made that joke on the air. Kill me now. Vader is 4 plus 3 plus 3 is 10. I'm going to leave it at right where it is on at B tier.
Okay.
Lord Vader, please do not smite me down for that. Ahsoka is 4 plus 4.5 plus 4.5 is a 4.3. She is dropping down to an average 4. Ventress is the same scoring. Maul is 3 plus 4 plus 4. 3 is 3.6. I'm not going to make the joke again. Rounding up, he's going to stay right there where he's at as a 4. Next, we've got Baylan Skull. 3 plus 4 plus 3.5. He's a 3.5. So he's actually right where he is supposed to be. Mm-hmm. Good for you, Baylan Skull. Good for you. Okay, Smilo Ren. 2 plus 2 plus 3 equals 7 divided by 3 is a 2.3. He is a 2. He's a C tier. He's not Bantapudu.
Not yet. No.
But he's also probably one of the best things about that show.
True.
And I hate to say that because it's a crappy show. Starkiller. He's a 2. Because it's 0 plus 3 plus 3 is 6. Divided by 3 is 2. He's just right there.
That's
I'm at least going to level him out.
Is that Vader? Do you think you just moved Vader's down there?
You're right. I grabbed the wrong one.
Lord Vader.
Oh my gosh, Lord Vader was going to kill me. All right. Lastly, we have Cal Kestis. 0 plus 3 plus 4 equals 7 divided by 3 is a 2.33. So he is right down here next to Starkiller. So those two guys are the weakest, and I think it makes sense because they're video game characters. As Brian said, it goes without saying. So this is our spread here. So we start with Brian's. Everything is clustered very close to the top. We get to Mark's. It's still very clustered close to the top, but we have fewer down towards the bottom.
Yeah.
Mine is, kind of middle of the road, spread out a little bit more, and that's also because I was moving things around based on where we had space. And then this is our average out right here for our final tier. How do you feel about this, Mark?
I like it. I mean, with mine, it's hard. Like, can't think of any lightsaber hilt that I just do not like, that I absolutely hate. I think that's a pretty good. I can't see anything wrong with it.
I know for a fact one that I absolutely cannot stand.
Oh, what's that one?
Qui-Gon Jinn's.
Really?
It is so generic looking.
Hmm.
Yeah, you've got the black grip on there, but it is so stinking generic looking.
Yeah.
Like he's got the little ball at the end, but big stinking deal. Like, I mean, it looks like he carved it or not carved it, but machined it in shop glass and just polished it up really good.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's one I completely forgot about. And it's the I believe it was in the one with the show with Milo Ren.
Oh, the Acolyte.
The Acolyte. That is the Wookiee lightsaber, the kind of the wood one.
That one I thought was kind of cool that it does incorporate pieces of nature.
Yeah.
But we don't get a really good look at it. And so because we don't get that good of a look, it kind of doesn't really, it's kind of hard to really grade that one.
Yeah.
The only other lightsaber that really stands out in that show was Green Bald Lady, and her the whole whip thing is just
the whip saber. Yeah.
It is so dumb.
But that leads me to another question. What style of lightsaber, or like taking the idea of the lightsaber and turning it into another weapon, what would you like to see? What do you think would be a cool idea to take that technology but turn it into a different style of weapon, besides just a typical saber?
I like the fact that, Ezra Bridger's saber, the blade blaster thing, I thought that was brilliant. The fact that, like you said, it's very ingenious, the ingenuity behind it, the fact that it has a dual function it, that it can use the same energy source to fuel the blaster as it does for the blade. Mm-hmm. I think that is really cool. I think it's very cool. It's one of the more unique lightsabers in all of Star Wars lore. Mm-hmm. Beyond that, it's really kind of hard to say because, the lightsaber is so specific, because trying to incorporate it into something, sure, you could probably disguise it as part of a larger weapon, say, like a blaster rifle or a bowcaster or something like that. But what's the point?
Well, I was thinking more along the lines of when we see throughout history other types of melee weapons, like a lightsaber dagger or a lightsaber axe, or a morning star with that was something more along the lines of that.
When I was in high school, I designed so we were playing the West End Star Wars RPG,
right?
And the character that I created, I was in a Highlander fad back in my freshman year of high school, and so I called my character McLeod. And so super original, but he was modeled after Duncan MacLeod from the TV show Highlander. And the hilt that I designed was essentially a straight katana handle with a emitter on the suba, on the cross the handguard. Mm-hmm. And instead of a standard button, it had a trigger grip that it was an open loop, almost like a crescent moon, that that had an extender that connected to the base of the emitter, and all he had to do was hold it and pull on that trigger, and it activated the saber.
Mm.
And because of the way it was designed, he could wield it single-handed. He could wield it two-handed, and it allowed for decent amount of protection and attack. It was a really fun design to put together. I got a lot of flack for it, but it was also one of the cooler things that I had come up with. And so that's kind of how I would design a lightsaber for something like this.
Yeah.
Another one is when I was later on in high school, I was running an RPG, and there's one of my players had a Phaline character who wielded a double-ended saber, but the emitter was built into a gauntlet. And so he would trigger it by pressing the button on the palm, and only he could do it because the way the gauntlet worked, because there was like electrodes in the fingertips. So he would press it, and the emitter would sit here in the palm, and it would create the double end.
Oh, cool.
Although now that I think about it, it's not super effective. Because the moment he closes his hand again, he's just going to cut off his fingers.
I'm looking at something right now. What I think would be an interesting style to do for a lightsaber is a rapier lightsaber.
That would be cool.
Like with the kind of basket hilt type of design for the crossguard for the hilt. And I think that would be. You kind of got a fencing style sword with Count Dooku, because Dooku was a very that was his style.
It was and that in the form too was definitely more for swordsmanship than any of the others.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the thing with most lightsabers, is that because there's no dedicated edge, there is with the dark saber, but with most lightsabers, there's no dedicated edge. So you can hit from any side or any angle. And so even if the hilt gets turned around in your hand, you can do something with it. Whereas, depending on with a real physical sword, depending on the type of sword and the quality of the seal and all that will depend on how the kind of attacks that you can do. I remember watching when I was in college, I watched this thing on Nat Geo. It was called Fight Science, where they looked at the physics of martial arts. They looked at the physics of martial arts weapons, and with the weapons, they looked at range, impact, and control. Those were the three factors that they were looking at. And the only weapon that was perfectly balanced on all three of those factors was the Japanese katana, the traditional daito. And the reason for that is because you've got the reach, you've got the impact that you can. The blade, if it's done right, can cut through flesh and bone like it's nothing. And then the control is how you can recoil that weapon, and the way that if you look at traditional katana, the way that the blade is curved allows it that you can attack from vertical, lateral, or diagonal, and as you bring the blade around, the curve of the blade on the back end matches the curve of the back of the warrior wielding it.
Right.
And that is, just the design of that is perfect.
Yeah. I'm a person when it comes to sword, I'm more of a longsword fan. The traditional longsword. I will say, not to get into the weeds about katana, I will say the only thing that I've heard negative about the katana that would make that the traditional longsword would have was the fact that the longsword were made from spring steel, so that when you cut, if you hit something, the sword would revert back to its normal shape, whereas katanas did not have that. So as a
No,
result,
but katanas had a tempering that made the blades a heck of a lot stronger than
Yeah.
most spring steel. Like, um, there, I've seen it. I like they did studies of it where a katana could theoretically cut through your traditional longsword. If you just cut across the flat of the blade, at the right angle with the right amount of force, it will break through it.
well,
And that's
we're
just
not. Yeah.
the way it's reinforced. But we're not
kidding. We'll let other podcasts and other YouTubers discuss all that type of
right.
Type of
And if you wanna tell us how wrong we are, you can email us at Kathleen Kennedy at lucasfilm.com or Bob Iger at Disney.com.
Yes. Oh, well, this has been a fun little discussion.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
I think this is probably one of my favorite tier lists too.
Yes, it was a lot of fun. So should we get put out Brian's info before we get out here?
Yeah. So for those of you who are in the who are wanting to get connected with Brian, you can find him on Facebook at the Sith Library and Archives, where he posts as Darth Carosis. You can also find him on the Galactic Empire, where he posts as Lieutenant Merryweather. Both are carefully curated collections of both Sith and dark side lore, as well as Galactic Empire lore. So check him out on those. He also posts on Instagram as Carosis, but not all that often. You'll find him more on those Facebook groups. As far as connecting with me, you guys can find me on Instagram and X at GKJ_publishing, where I talk about my books. I've got book 6 of my fantasy series, The Archives of Async Ran, going through its second full round of edits. I'm on chapter 37 out of 40. And coming up on September 1st, which is a Tuesday, I'm going to be doing the cover reveal, the full cover reveal for book 6, which is called The Preludes of War. Beyond that, I'm working on a YA teen drama book that's based here in my hometown of Hanford, California, during the summer of 1999, going through the summer of 2000, which would have been my senior year of high school. So the characters are high school seniors. A lot of fun. You can see my posts on that. And then I'm also part of another podcast on Feast of Fandoms called Snackame, where we eat snacks and talk anime, and not always in that particular order.
All right. As for us right here at War of the Stars, if you want to get a hold of us, you can do so through our email. That is warthestars1@gmail.com. We are on all other social medias at War of the Stars 77. There's Blue Sky, Instagram, TikTok, and the like. What else do we got here? If you want to support the show, you can do so easily by going to kofi.com/War of the Stars, or go to, and I cannot see sorry. I'm going to do something here real quick. You can see these, there we go. Start, check out all the merch that we have. New merch coming soon, so be there. We are a proud member of Feast of Fandoms, as Garrett mentioned. Check out all the shows on Feast of Fandoms, not just War of the Stars and not just Snackame, but everything else. A lot of really great shows there. Also, we are a part of the Red 5 Network. Check out all the shows on the Red 5 Network. Again, a great bunch of guys, a great bunch of shows there. What are we talking next week? We're talking Clone Wars, Cat and Mouse. We're talking about that episode of the Clone Wars. So watch as we discuss that episode of Clone Wars. And yeah, until next week, remember, this is not just my Star Wars. This is not just your Star Wars. This is our Star Wars. May the Force be with you.